Hello, my friends in TV land. It is Laura Ward in role play, and I'm in a Zoom room with at least one other person. There are several cats in my room, and I am going to actually start today with a poem. This is from the book Bury the Seed by Brooke McNamara, who is somebody that I met through the Embodiment Conference and is just a beautiful human and also has a dance background. And I just have never met her in person, but I've been in a lot of rooms with her and really relate to her work. And I'm going to read this because I feel like I know that I'm dealing with a lot of things on an emotional, cosmic survival level. And I feel like everyone in the world is dealing with a lot of things right now. Whoa, if they even talking about it makes me feel emotional. And I know that the stuff that's going on in the Ukraine is hitting people very hard. The weather is hitting people hard. So many things. People are losing friends. All sorts of stuff is happening. So this is to maybe today we're going to work on processing some of that stuff through our bodies, which may be sometimes playful and fun and sometimes kind of ow, ooh, yee. So we're going to work with some of this material. The poem is the title poem. It's called Bury the Seed. Pain always teaches me, and it's going to make me cry just to even do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let it out. Pain always teaches me to make new things, less for what the things become than for how the making remakes me, brave and grateful. Early this morning, under a cobalt cloudless sky, my steps each send instructions up to worried, humble ears. The bells are ringing. It's time you knew. In your gripped fist has always been your specific hallowed seed. Release that lifelong holding into open hands and here, exactly as you are, break ground, dig down, and simply, faithfully bury the seed. In the moist, eternal darkness, let life split open and become. So that's our invitation today. Thank you, Brooke McNamara, and your book. In the moist, eternal darkness, let life split open and become. I want to offer one more thing. I don't often talk about fire in this because it's a very fluid work, but fire is very much associated to me with our will. So when there are things that I can't manage, I light candles and let the fire burn out some of that stuff for me. So just to throw in a little witchy practice for you. Let's take this all the way down to the floor right away. And the invitation is to, if you don't want to lay down, you can do this seated. You can do these classes in any comfortable way. This is about you finding a relationship with your own body in a way that feels okay for you in this moment. So I'm going to invite my body to just sink into the floor for a couple of breaths. And I'm actually going to do two things. I'm going to show you what I do with my body. I'm going to cross one foot over the other, and I'm going to cross my hands over my body. So I'm kind of enclosing myself. I'm burying my own seed. You could also do this with crossed legs, any way that feels good to you, or just, it could be any kind of holding, crossing, any way that feels good. I'm just going to invite the bone weight of my body to drop down into the earth. Tuning into the intelligence of my own bones, the intelligence and the earthy quality of my bones. Letting out sounds whenever that feels good. So feel free to sigh, release, soften in whatever way feels good to you. And if you want to move, feel free to move. You don't have to stay still. This is just an invitation to take it deep into the depth of your bones. Feeling the solidity and ground in your bones, feeling the connection to the earth through the gravitational pull. So between the weightedness and density of our bones and between the water in our body, we can really connect down into the ground, letting letting the ground of being hold us, letting the ground hold our animal bodies, and the gravitational pull of the earth keep us connected. We are not going to fall off the earth. It will hold us. We can count on gravity. We can rely on gravity to help create our form and our structure. And as I'm here feeling into my bones, I'm just going to thank my bones for their strength, for their role in supporting my body. And they support us in so many ways. They are also, what is it, the B cells, or the lymph is also created in our bones. So that is part of the detoxification of our body. That's part of our immune system. So in the marrow of our bones, a lot of our health is coming from the marrow of our bones. So I'm just going to tune into that bone marrow, which also has a kind of fluid quality compared to like the harder, denser tissue of the bone. And one thing I want to add to this is that, like, when we feel into our bones, there's something ancestral about that. There's something timeless about that, or there could be. So feeling into the sense of the strength of your bones, letting out any kind of sounds, any kind of sighs. Imagining that the soft tissue, the muscle fiber, the fascia, even the organs that are inside can just soften toward the ground, supported by the bones, supported by the earth. And coming back to this bone marrow, inviting in the fluid nature of our bone marrow to bring the sense of fluidity and water into our body, maybe starting with some micro movement or some wriggling, whatever feels good to you, whatever feels good and kind to your body right now. Adding the air, the breath. Inviting yourself to just let go of anything that you can let go of. Letting your body process some of the stuff that is weighing heavy in your mind. Just let go of that and turn towards sensation, turn towards movement. You can allow yourself to unscramble if that feels good, or stay in that connected position, even just rocking, closed and rocking our bodies can be very soothing for our nervous system. Yeah, how do we self-soothe? Hand on the belly, hand on the chest, hand on the heart. Even sometimes just closing my eyes or having my hands over my eyes, bringing it in. Bringing myself in to that moist, deep darkness. Breathing into it. And I'm going to invite my whole system to start to participate. So sometimes I feel like an analogy that kind of works for me with the fire in my body is also the nervous system, the speed and energy of the nervous system. It's almost like electricity could be aligned with fire. Our electrical system, the electricity in our body keeps our heart beating. Inviting yourself to tune into that aliveness. And maybe there's some pruning that needs to be done, right? Maybe there's some internal clearing out. The fire can also do that. The fire can also clear away things that are no longer serving, just burning them up. And maybe this is just an imaginary play, right? Maybe this is just a little game, a low stakes game where you can play with letting go of things and burning things that don't need to be there. Maybe you need more water in there. Maybe you need more fluidity. Maybe more breath, maybe more air. What is in the air? What is in the breath? For me, there's a lot of spaciousness with the breath. The breath is moving through our bodies, not just through our lungs, but with the oxygen and the CO2 entering through our bodies, nourishing our bodies, and leaving our bodies. Oxygen coming in, CO2 out. This interplay that we have with the planet, taking in the air and releasing the CO2. Letting go of whatever you can let go of. Tuning into your own heart, your own loving kindness, your own compassion, your compassion for yourself, your compassion for the world, your compassion for the water, for the air, for the earth, for the people. Can we be in the compassion without gripping and tightening and closing off? Can we move in that space? Yeah, I feel like anytime we're doing this body processing, we're dealing with our own plasticity. Like there's the whole like hype and excitement about neuroplasticity, how our brains can change things. But this is a whole body mind participatory engagement. This is really coming into presence with yourself, with anything that's been stuck in there. Just maybe offering to pry some of that stuff open and set it free. If that feels skillful and helpful, if that feels gentle and nourishing. Are there some patterns and ways of behaving that we can soften? Even the way that we behave with ourselves. Is there some forgiveness that we can find in there? For our imperfections, for other people's imperfections. How deep can we go into it? Where is it in our bodies? Is there something I can unclench? Is there some part that I can release and soften? Or just even send like a little love to, like the soles of my feet. Can I send a little bit of love down to the soles of my feet so I feel them connecting inside my socks to the carpet, moving around? Can I send some love to the top of my head, to the tips of my fingers? It's interesting. It comes to mind like, what tools do I have in my toolbox? But maybe that a question is, what do I have in my sewing kit? What cleaning supplies are there that can help nourish my system? What food is in my refrigerator or in my pantry or growing in my backyard? What are the nourishing ways I have of being with myself. I just was thinking tools and thinking, how gendered our language can be. What spring can I dive into? What well can I play in to resource myself? I feel like, to me, this practice of presence with self through embodied movement and tuning into all of this stuff, this is the well. How am I going into the well today? And what do I need from the well today? What's under the surface of the water? What's under the surface of my subconscious? What might be coming to light? Inviting the play in your body to really connect to those sources of nourishment that you connect to. What are they? Actually, just right now, laying on the floor and feeling the floor and feeling my body is very nourishing. Let go of whatever you have to. Let the earth soak it up and compost it. Or light a candle, let the fire burn it away. Let your lymphatic system detox that stuff, whatever it is. And as we move, we're bringing that, and as we breathe, we're bringing that lymphatic system online. So we're not just detoxing ideas and old patterns. We really are actually working with our lymphatic to detox our actual body. So letting some of the stress, some of the stuff that's been going on just start to wash away as our fluid system comes online to support us. Yeah. When do we need to show up for ourselves? What can we do? One practice that I've been doing, well, I guess I always do it because it's so delicious, is when I'm in the shower, I start to make noises. And sometimes I do kind of like throat singing or overtone singing, or I just do ha, ooh, and I feel where it moves in my body. Can I bring that ooh? Can I bring it really down into my guts? Ah, ooh. So it's using the sound practice as this way of really creating spaciousness in the whole system. Ah, ooh. And that's that breath vibration, which is vibrating the fluids, which is vibrating the tissues. And the breath can really move. Like the sound can move. As I move my body, I can play with where are those sounds happening. Ooh. Can I vibrate the different membranes in my head and in my brain? And maybe the question is, can I sense it? Because whether or not I can, I am. It is happening. Can I sense into that? Can I feel into that vibration? Can I become lost in my own exploration? Ooh, taking me into this nourishing place of curiosity. And exploration, right? This is really where that neuroplasticity is, when we're in the unknown, feeling into territory that's different. The snowflake territory, every snowflake is completely different. Inviting my imagination online in this participation, in this processing. When we move, we're processing stuff. And when we move in novel ways, we're going to start to process new things. Body's going to go, oh, there's that. There's that weird little bit of tension right there. Maybe I can let it go. Maybe I can soften something. Or there's that little memory popping up. Maybe that brings up tears. Maybe I've got more to release around that. Can I let that out? As I read that poem, that brought up emotion for me. Can I be with my heart and let some of that emotion process? Can I be with my body? Can I be with my tissue? I'm going to add music for this last little part. And again, it is Jeff Gersh. It'll be Ambient Fields. Thank you, Jeff, for all of your work. It's so helpful to have these sounds to work with. gonna give us a couple more minutes just to explore without the sound. I also want to say that while I'm talking about all of these things that could be happening, it can also just be movement without any purpose, without any goal, without any need to fix, change, solve. We can also just move, just to move. Doesn't have to have all the answers in it. Takes off the pressure. We just allow ourselves just to move in any way. Permission to make noise, permission to move. So if you have been with us in TV land, thank you for showing up. I have a Patreon now, which will be in the comment section underneath or in the words underneath this video. Please, it's Laura V. Ward. It's not very hard to find. Anyway, let's hope we've all processed a whole bunch of stuff for the world, or at least for our own nervous systems. As I said, there's no goal. There's a goal. There's no goal. There's a goal.